So, Hawthorne experiment study clearly showed that man at work is motivated by more than the satisfaction of economic needs. Management should recognize that people are essentially social beings and not merely economic beings. As a social being, they are members of group, and the management should try to understand group attitudes and group psychology. So, the following were the main conclusions by Hawthorne experiment. Social unit. A factory is not only a techno-economic unit but also a social unit. Men are social beings. The social characteristic at workplace an important role in motivating people. The output increased in relay room due to effectively functioning of a social group with a warm relationship with its supervisors. Second one is a group influence. The workers in a group develop a common psychological bond uniting them as group in the form of informal organization. Their behavior is influenced by these groups pressure of group rather than management demands, frequently as the strongest influence on high productive workers would be. Next, group behavior. Management must understand that a typical group behavior can dominate or even supersede the individual propensities. Motivation. Human and social motivation can play even a greater role than mere monetary incentives in moving or motivating and managing employees group. Supervision. The style of supervision affects workers' attitude to work and his productivity. The supervisor who is friendly with the workers and takes interest in their social problems can get cooperation and better results from the subordinates. Next, working condition. Productivity increase as a result of improved working condition in the organization and employee morale. Mayo pointed out that workers were not simply cogs in the machinery instead of the employee morale can have profound effects on productivity. Then communication. Experiments have shown that the output increases when workers are explain the logic behind various decisions and their participation in decision making brings better results. Next, it brings out a balanced approach. The problems of workers could not be solved by taking one factor, that is, management could not achieve the results by emphasizing one aspect. All things should be discussed and decision be taken for improving the whole situation. A balanced approach to the whole situation can show better results. So these are the unique characteristics in Elton Mayo theory or human relation approach. It focuses on need for attention, and every employee should be given importance, and it is social attraction. Since organization is considered as a formal group, so there the employees need informal communication, individual achievement. So it focuses on individual efficiency and their proficiency on particular concept, intended as a move away from the organization as machine metaphor. Management recognizes employees as humans with needs rather than cogs of a machine. So these are the concepts which are involved in human relation approach. So next we are moving to Maslow's hierarchy theory. So many of you have heard about this term Maslow's hierarchy. So it will come under HRM motivation concept you would have studied in your second year. So it tells you about five needs, that is physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. So we will see one by one. Physiological need, that tells you about food, shelter, clothing. When we compare this concept for organization behavior, this includes having a place to work, a regular monthly salary, comfortable working environment, and essential facilities such as cafeteria, canteen facility, and water facility, other facility. Next, it tells you about safety needs. So safety needs, this include having formal contracts of employment as well as benefits such as pension scheme and sick pay. and remuneration benefits, employee benefits, mediclaim policy. There should be also an emphasis on health and safety in the working environment. Third one is social needs. Since a human being is a social animal, we wanted to be in a group. So this concept can be compared to human resource management in organizational behavior, that is promoting group working across teams, departments and different levels, as well as encouraging team building through social activities can help satisfy these needs. If you have employees who work from home or other remote locations, then it is important to ensure that you and their manager are fulfilling their social needs. So next need is self-esteem need. Self-esteem level, respect for others and price is important. A 360-degree feedback and appraisal system can help recognize employees' contributions, and peer-to-peer or social recognition program will celebrate employees' achievements and confer prestige and respect. The last one is self-actualization. At the highest level of personal development plans, training, secondments, monitoring, and opportunity for promotion enable staff to be very best they can be. By implementing regular talent planning meetings among managers and HR, having career discussions with employees and offering options such as fast track management programs, organization can fulfill employees' self-actualization needs while ensuring they have expertise to fulfill future vacancies. Actually, I have explained this concept in the point of organizational behavior. Why? Because you know the original concept from motivation theory in HRM. So you should write, like you should compare this concept with HR. So physiological needs compared to their job, safety needs that compared to their incentive, bonus, the other thing, social need that details about their informal groups in the organization, esteem needs we can talk about their promotion, self actualization is about creativity and innovation of the employees who are working in the organization. So Maslow's hierarchy need theory is very important. So you can, if they ask in general, like neoclassical theory, if you get question like that, you can write Elton Mayo theory, Maslow's theory, and McGregor XY theory. So I'm going to explain about McGregor's X and Y theory. Douglas McGregor formulated a X and Y theory suggesting two aspects of human behavior at work, or in other words, two different views of individuals employee. One which is negative called theory X and the other is positive, so called as theory Y. According to McGregor, the perception of managers on the nature of individual is based on various assumptions. So let's move on to the assumption of theory X. An average employee intrinsically does not like work and tries to escape it whenever possible. Since the employee does not want to work, he must be persuaded, compelled, or warned with punishment. So as to achieve organizational goals, a close supervision is required on part of managers. The manager adopt a more dictatorial style. Many employees rank job security on top and they have little or no aspirations or ambitions. They avoid responsibility. They don't have any desire, only they focus on money. Employees generally dislike responsibility. They resist change. An average employee needs formal direction and people must be pushed to perform. So next we move on to the assumption of theory Y. So this type of employee always seeks work autonomy and they seek responsibility. Employees can perceive their job as relaxing and normal. They exercise their physical and mental efforts in an inherent manner in their jobs. Employees may not require only threat, internal control or coercion to work, but they can use self-direction. If the job is rewarding and satisfying, then it will result in employees loyalty and commitment of the organization. And the employees have skills and capabilities. Their logical capabilities should be fully utilized. In other words, the creativity, resourcefulness, and innovative potentiality of employees can be utilized to solve organizational problems. So these are the concept of X and Y. X is negative and Y is positive. They always focus on they are pessimistic behavior. Y is optimistic behavior. So it is very important. So I can conclude till this. So modern approach, I think I can take in the next class. So in this class we have completed classical theory and neoclassical theory. So you just do some homework on system approach and contingency approach. So next class we will be seeing this, and this is syllabus. So I have uh, covered this unit first, scope and organizational behavior, then theories of organization. Okay, so thank you so much. So be attentive in the class, because you will find very difficult if you do not concentrate on subjects in exams. So please be attentive. Okay, thank you so much for your patient listening. So next I'll be giving some kind of assignments. Be ready for that. So be attentive. Thank you.